Hi friends, today we're going to read one more snow story, and this is called The Mitten. And this story is a folk tale, and it is adapted, that means it's changed some, and illustrated by Jan Brett. We know that author, don't we? We read lots and lots of her stories. I would encourage you, if you are at home, to look up Jan Brett online and see what else she has that maybe you could take advantage of. All right, this is called The Mitten. There's a little hint on the back. It says, in the mitten, a folk tale, a boy named Nicky loses his snow white mitten. He can't find it in the snow, but the woodland animals do. And this is Jan Brett. All right, let's learn about the mitten. Here's the title page. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. And remember, if you look on this side, there's always a hint of what's coming on the next page. It's a little harder to see it online, I know, but I wanted to tell you that. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally, Baba made them. Do you think Baba is grandma? After she finished, she said, when you come home, first I will look to see that you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens. So off Nicky went. It wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. And it's right there. And if you look up here, he has the other one tucked in his belt. So I think he thought they both were there, and one came out. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. That means he crawled in. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. Look on this side and you'll see what's coming. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking after wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jolted, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. He wanted to see what was going on, didn't he? When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glinty talons, that means the claws, they quickly let him in. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left. But when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. Because on the mittens you have a thumb, right? It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and the fox trotted by to investigate. So because they were warm and they were breathing, there was like a warmth that the fox felt. So he's like, I'm going to check that out. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. That means tired. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. Do you see what's coming? A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten, all plumped up, not being one to be left out in the cold. He began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be. But what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size. But Baba's good knitting held fast. That means it stayed. It didn't rip. Wow. Now what's coming? A little bitty mouse. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wiggled into one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. Right here. You see it? The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Ah, 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 choo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the air and scattered the animals in all directions. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. so he could see it because it was against the blue sky and it wasn't laying in the snow. As he ran to catch his snow white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First she saw to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. Now this page does not have any words, but look at Baba. What's she doing? She's looking at that great big mitten going, what happened? What a fun story. All right, boys and girls, I have gotten to the end of all my snowy books. So tomorrow, we're going to go on to some other fun books. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.